why aren't they taking it
Yeah, I
seriously?
mean,
Or are we exaggerating? Are we the fools? I don't know.
I think I think that's a good question. I mean, I think I understand that there's an academic and a philosophical and the right answer to your question, and then there's a realistic answer to your question, right? And I think the academic in me wants to be very pedantic about it and say things like we should absolutely close everything down, and I do think that that would be the ideal approach where we take social distancing seriously, where the government comes down with an iron fist almost and imposes a total curfew. I mean, there are countries where there are shoot at sight orders in place if
Yeah.
anybody comes out without a valid reason. I mean,
What's the
places in the
name? They shot two people there.
I think
Philippines, I think.
Philippines,
Dote,
yes,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Philippines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he को
So
वैसे
I
भी
mean,
भाग रहा है, but yeah.
so there's that. And then obviously in our neighboring country in India as well, I mean, they have really come down hard on congressional prayers. I mean, it's easier for them and it sort of it aligns to their Hindutva policies, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was the right thing to do because the biggest outbreaks recently in India, at least in New Delhi, have been at Tablighi Jamaat related events, which also has been the biggest outbreak in Pakistan, which was the Tablighi Jamaat event in Riven. So I think that would be the right thing to do for sure. The government should really come down with an iron fist. We should impose certain measures which mean that people are not allowed to congregate in large numbers. But then, unfortunately, we're also talking about, we're comparing Pakistan, which is a weak democracy, to countries like Tunisia and Saudi Arabia and the UAE, which are all monarchies, and where the state funds all the mosques and all of these religious institutions. So it's easy for the state to say, we're going to fund you for the next few months, just close things down. And then you also have, folks like MBB and other, more authoritative leaders who can really bring their fist down on their people and impose the rule of law. Unfortunately, in Pakistan, we don't have that. We have a very weak democracy. The mosques are not funded by the government; they're funded by their own private donations, and so which is why they have an added incentive to not lock things down and to stay open because they depend on chanda and they depend on alms and zakat and sadaqah. So that is their perspective why they don't want to close down. But absolutely, I agree with you, and I think that should be the messaging across that we this is the time to sort of take refuge in our houses, not congregate. And, frankly, that is what needs to happen. But unfortunately, I mean, I live in Lahore, and congregational prayers are going on. There are certain instances, I think, in certain parts of the city where people are relatively more, I think, people have better means. The mosques are larger, and in cantonment-related areas, controlled areas at least, there is some semblance of order. There is some social distancing happening in the mosques, but this is not the situation in the vast majority of the country, where in mosques, people are congregating, they're not maintaining social
Yeah.
distances, and that is unfortunately a recipe for disaster.